Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes. So, how was the weekend? As usual? As usual? Or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, same here. Yeah, shall I ask a few questions from the portions that we have completed? Yeah. Which are the types of correlations, Malavika? Tell me how many types are there? Just number of types.
What types? Not sure.
You're not sure. How many types have we learned?
Ma'am, it's the matching. It was handsome.
Huh?
Matching and
No. Correlation. Correlation research, we learned three types. And tell me which are they.
not sure.
You're not sure. Anybody else?
Positive, negative, and zero correlation.
Is that what you said, Alina? Same. Okay. Positive, negative, and zero correlation. Okay. Remember now, Malavika? Okay. So, what is positive correlation then? Anyone? Open question. What is positive correlation?
One variable increases, the other variable should also increase, or if one variable decreases, the other should also decrease.
Okay, very good. If one increases, the other will also increase. If one decreases, the other will also decrease. That is positive correlation. Okay, now what is negative correlation then?
When one increases, the other decreases, and
Yes,
when one increases.
other increases, vice versa. If one increases, the other one decreases. It's regarding variables. Okay. Yes, so both of them will go in opposite directions. Alright. Now what is zero correlation? Obviously, if there is no correlation between the two variables, then we call it zero correlation. Okay. Now what is the range of correlation coefficient? What is correlation coefficient before that? It is a value that gives the strength and also the direction of the correlation among two variables. Okay. So what is the range of correlation coefficient?
Positive 1 to negative 1 through 0.
Yeah. You can say the other way, negative 1 to positive 1 through 0. Alright. Then extra information I told you, it is denoted by small letter r. Correlation coefficient is denoted by small letter r. Now, the main question, what is correlation? What is correlation?
This is the value of relation between two variables.
Yeah, it is the method of research. Correlation research is a method of research in which we try to find a relationship between two variables. We don't establish cause-effect relationship, but we find out if there is a relationship between them or not. We find if they co-vary or not. That is, change together or not. Change together in the sense it can be in opposite directions, it can be in same direction. If it is in same direction, we call it positive correlation. If it is in opposite direction, we call it negative correlation. That's the only difference. Okay, I hope that topic is clear. Yes. Now the next method that we are going to study is survey research. Survey research. That's quite familiar to you all, isn't it? Surveys. Yes. Where all have you seen surveys? Amal Roshan, have you heard of surveys? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Where have you heard?
Taking places service.
Places. Surveys on places. Okay, on land. isn't it?
Home people are there.
How many people are there in each house? Yes, that is a survey for population, isn't it? Census. Yes. Then
For product reviews.
product reviews. Yes, we commonly, especially when we do online shopping. Yeah, that is also one form of survey. Then health. Health regarding what? Like for example, I didn't hear. Huh? Vaccine. Okay. Then surveys. They are very common. Think.
Population increase.
Population increase. Yeah, that is also related to census, isn't it? To know the population count. Then election poll. Then unemployment. Yes. Hmm. That's all. Finished. Okay. So we'll start with survey research today. And from this picture, what all can you understand? Obviously, it's a collage.
It shows the different forms of survey.
Different forms of survey.
Yeah, personal interviewing, which is the first one with the woman and the man. And then via questionnaire, a printed questionnaire. Then online, which is the man sitting with the laptop at the bottom. And then the final one is through the telephone, which the woman is talking.
Okay, yeah. So basically, these are the methods that we are going to study about. In survey research itself is a method of study. But in survey research, we collect information or we collect data from the participants using different methods. Again, we subdivide them, and it can be through personal interviews, just as you can see in the the big picture. Okay, the man and the woman. Hopefully, the woman is taking a personal interview of that man. And then we can also use questionnaires. We can provide questionnaires to the participants, and through that we can get information for the survey. Also, for survey research, we can also use telephonic methods. Through telephone, we can ask information, or we can take interviews through telephones also. So, telephone surveys are also there. Okay, this is basically survey research. Only this much is there, but we have to learn something to write about it, isn't it? So, we'll learn more about survey research.
Ma'am,
Yes, Amal Roshan.
email surveys are there.
What?
Email survey.
Email surveys are there. Again, through emails, we can send questionnaires to people. Okay, that is why we are discussing that under questionnaire survey section. Questionnaires, either we can give them directly to the participants, or we can mail it to them. We can send it via email. And are you aware of Google Forms? Yes, right. You're familiar with it. Yeah, through Google Forms also, we can put a questionnaire. It is in hard copy form. We can type it into Google Forms, and you can share the link with the participants. Through that method also, we can collect information. Okay. So I think you can write this definition, the first line. I don't think it's there in the textbook. Please write down. Survey research is defined as, Amar Roshan, please write. Survey research is defined as the collection of information Survey research is defined as the collection of information from a sample of individuals, collection of information from a sample of individuals through their responses to questions. The collection of information from a sample of individuals through their responses to questions. Okay. Survey research came into existence to study opinions, attitudes, and social facts. For example, if a company has introduced a new product, and there are customers who buy it, maybe it's gender specific. Okay, maybe it's something related to ladies' cosmetics. And the participants are obviously the ladies, isn't it? So they'll be the participants of the study, and the company who produced this major product, they'll be asking questions to these participants regarding the product. How much was it effective, or what is your opinion on this, or how much was it useful for you? Similarly, to know the attitude of people towards certain topics, maybe social issue, maybe a product itself. For example, love marriage versus arranged marriage. In magazines especially, we see surveys regarding this. Yes, like Vanita. In Vanita magazines, we at least in a few pages we'll come across some or the other surveys. Among college students, or maybe among early adults, people among early adulthood stage, or maybe among elderly people. Okay, there are different surveys for different purpose, and they were developed because a major opinion or attitude or interest were to be found out among a sample of people, among a sample of individuals. Now, what is a sample again? From a major population, if we are selecting a set of participants, we call that a sample. It is in this sample that we are doing the study or research. Okay. Then, the major concern initially was to find out the existing reality or baseline. What is the general opinion? That is to be found out using survey research. Okay. Examples include surveys conducted to find out the literacy rate at a particular time. That is one example, literacy rate. Then attitude towards marriage. Then population, that is very famous, census. Then similarly, other topics or other issues can also be surveyed on. Then the techniques used for collecting information here are as follows. That is the picture that we saw, the three methods. Okay, have you finished taking down the definition? Shall I change the slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, again I described this. Now we'll move on to personal interviews. This is the first one. Personal interviews. Where have you seen personal interviews?
Getting job.
Obviously, for getting jobs. The employer or the board members might interview the employee or the candidate who has applied for that post. Yes, very common example, personal interview. Then
Census. For taking census.
for taking census, yes. People come to our homes, they talk about they ask about the number of people, how many are employed, how many are unemployed, how many are studying still. Yeah? Okay, then. Celebrities, yes. Especially during these festive times, Onam, Vishu, Christmas. We have exclusive interviews, isn't it? Especially in televisions. Yes, now it has moved on to Instagram lives, I think.
Zoom meeting,
Zoom meetings
teachers,
also. Yes. Politicians and the candidates for elections. They are also interviewed, especially during the election time. Then, where else have you seen interviews? Nowadays, I think if a child has to get admitted to a school, again the child has to undergo a major interview, isn't it? Especially the pre-KG sections. That is also there. Then
business meetings.
business meetings. Business meetings, that is meeting, right? Interviews are mainly held for selecting a candidate. If it is a normal meeting, then I don't think interviews are there. Then, where else can you see personal interview? Yes? Celebrities.
Counseling
Interviews.
centers.
Counseling. That is also important. When a client comes to a counselor or a psychologist, the first thing that we do is personal interview. A kind of personal interview. A slight variation of the usual interviews. Because we have to collect data about the client, isn't it? Without getting to know the person, we cannot start the therapy or treatment. So first thing that you have to do is observe, then establish the rapport through personal interviews. Then
Some auditions.
auditions, yes, for competitions and all. When auditions are done, personal interviews are taken. Yes.
Doctor-patient interview.
Doctor-patient interview, yes. When a patient comes to the doctor for the first time, obviously the name, the gender, the age, occupation, then if the person is studying, then what is he or she studying, all those things are taken into account. Yes. Then can you think of any unprofessional interviews? The examples that we discussed now were professional ones, isn't it? Doctor, patient, then psychologist and the client, then the employer, employee, then the journalist and the election candidate, celebrity and the channel interviewer. Yes? Can you think of any unprofessional ones?
When we meet someone for the first time.
Yeah, when we meet someone for the first time, especially if it is a marriage alliance. Basic interview is done, isn't it? Obviously. Okay, yeah. So we were talking about unprofessional interviews. Yeah, I think you all are familiar with that too, isn't it? Yeah. So, what is interview then? What is an interview? You know the examples. So, what happens in those examples? Think of that.
The process that we do to acquire information on a person or evaluate a person's skill set and other attributes.
Can you make it a bit simple?
If I make it simple, it will sound very simple.
No, let it be. Try.
Okay, so it's used to get to know the person.
No, I'm not asking about its use. What is an interview? What happens in an interview?
Yeah, you understand a person. If it's a job interview, you want to understand the candidate, if he or she is fit for the job, and if she is what the company or institution is looking for.
Okay. Let's see. Two or more persons sit face to face with each other, in which one person, what is the person called? One who asks the questions? Interviewer. That person is called the interviewer. And he or she is the one who asks the questions, and the other person who answers the questions, that is called the interviewee or the respondent. Answers the questions related to a problem. That is basically an interview. Okay. Two or more people. Two people in the sense it might be in the case of telephonic survey or something. That can happen in telephonic service, but personal interviews are similar, but they'll be face to face. They'll be done face to face. All right. And basically, interviewer asks the questions, and interviewer asks the questions to interviewee. Okay. So there is one person asking the question, there is another person answering the question. Basically, that process is called a personal interview. Okay. And an interview is a purposeful activity conducted to derive factual information, opinions and attitudes and reasons for particular behavior, etc. from the respondent. So why are we doing this purposeful activity? To derive factual information, to derive some facts of information from the respondents or the interviewee, or it might be related to any opinion, it can be related to any attitudes, or it might be related to a particular reason which is the focus of our study or research. Okay. Then the list of questions that we prepare beforehand. If a channel reporter wants to ask questions to a famous personality, and this famous personality has some 5 interviews on a single day, so this interviewer cannot sit and think of what questions are to be asked, isn't it? So the person will prepare a set of questions beforehand, before starting the interview itself. That is called, or those set of questions or list of questions, that is called interview schedule. Alright? It is called interview schedule. There can be, based on this, there can be 2 broad types of interviews. We'll study that. Please take down the definition, and after that we'll discuss. So basically, in personal interviews, there will be one interviewer who is the person asking the question. There will be another interviewee who is the person attending the questions or answering the questions or responding to the questions. Hence, the name respondent. Okay, and it is an interaction between these two, face-to-face interaction between the interviewer and the interviewee. And why are we doing this interview? To collect information, to gather factual information or opinions or attitudes regarding a particular topic of interest. And the questions that we prepare beforehand, the list of questions that we prepare beforehand, even before starting the interview, that is called the interview schedule. Okay? Then, there are 2 types of interviews. Generally, they are structured and unstructured, or we call it standardized and non-standardized test. Okay, so structured or unstructured, that is same as standardized or non-standardized types of interviews. Now let's see what it is. Here the questions in the schedule are written clearly in a particular sequence. The interviewer has little or no liberty to make changes in the wordings of the questions, sometimes responses to, or the order in which they are to be asked. So there is no flexibility from the side of the interviewer in structured or standardized type of interviews, which means the interview schedule means the set of questions. They are already set. Okay, and there can be no changes made from the side of the interviewer in those questions or the responses. Because it is a structured one. That interview schedule has a structure. The questions to be asked are completely fixed. It cannot be changed in any way. That is structured interview, or we call it standardized type of interview. Now, it is the just opposite in unstructured ones. Here the interviewer has the flexibility to take decisions about the questions to be asked, the wording of the questions, and the sequence in which the questions are to be asked. Okay, so generally when a client is interviewed by a counselor or a psychologist, it is kind of unstructured. Because based on what the client says, we can change the questions, isn't it? Yeah. So in structured interviews, maybe again the example of the reporter and the celebrity, that can be structured because there is already a set of questions that are to be asked. Again, in FM radios also, we hear rapid fire questions, isn't it? Rapid fire interviews. Again, in interviews, we'll have a part called rapid fire session. That is also a structured form because there is a set of questions which is already prepared. And the only job of the interviewer or the radio jockey is to ask those questions to the celebrity. Okay, so that has a structure already because the program manager or the producer or maybe the creative head might have already set the questions which are to be asked. So that already has a structure that cannot be changed in any way. So that is structured, and in unstructured, the interviewer has the right or has the freedom to change those questions or the according to the responses that are given by the respondent or the client or the interviewee. Okay, that is the two types of personal interviews. One is structured, one is unstructured, or we can call it standardized or non-standardized type of interviews. Alright. Then what else is there? Interviews require time and is not much cost effective. They are flexible, adaptable, and hence provide in-depth information. Can be used with children as well as illiterate people. It has a wide application. Okay, not only in terms of children, not only in terms of adults, it is applicable to various types of people. Again, especially for illiterate people, if they don't know to read and write, if they don't know proper language, we can communicate them verbally, isn't it? Vocally, actually, not verbally, vocally. We can ask them questions and get information from them, especially tribal people. If we cannot go straight to them and give questionnaires and ask them to fill it up, isn't it? Instead, we can take interviews from them. That is a better method. That will be more effective than the questionnaire methods. So according to the clients, according to the participants, we can select which method is to be selected for survey. The first one that we learned is personal interviews. I think we have time. Shall we see the next one also? Yeah. Okay, before that, a small topic. An interview may have the following combinations of participants in an interview situation. That is, individual to individual. That is, it is a situation where one interviewer interviews another person. Just like the counselor and the client, or the psychologist and the client, one-to-one relationship. Okay, one person asks the question, the other person answers the question. Now, individual to group. One individual to the group of individuals. In this situation, one interviewer interviews a group of people and group to individuals, just like the job interviews. There will be the board members or the group of people who are interviewing a single candidate. Okay, that is group to individuals. It is a situation where one group of interviewers interview one person. From the name itself, I think it's quite evident, isn't it? Yeah. And the last one is group to group, which is a situation where one group of interviewers interview another group of interviewers. Especially in, when there is discussion about political issue, this can happen, group to group. Okay, this is just a small portion in our textbook. Just note which are the combinations of participants in an interview situation. Combination of participants. It can be from individual to individual, individual to group, or group to group, or group to individual. Study like that, then it will be easy. Okay. Then next one is questionnaire survey. So among the three different methods, we have completed personal interviews. Now questionnaire survey is another method under survey research. Okay. Now questionnaire survey, obviously there will be a set of questions. That is why we call it a questionnaire. A set of questions will be there, and what the respondent is supposed to do is mark the answers according to the various responses given. It can be descriptive answers, or it can be the particular responses like strongly agree. We discussed that, right? In types of data. Yeah, the respondents are supposed to mark their responses. It can be in the form of true or false questions. It can be in the form of rating scales. It can be in the form of multiple choice questions. 5 options will be given. You have to choose the best which suits you. Okay, so questionnaires are used for questionnaire surveys. This consists of predetermined set of questions and hence is a simple, versatile and low-cost self-report method of collecting information. This is the advantage of questionnaire surveys. It is simple, versatile. Versatile means it can be changed in different ways. It is flexible. And low cost self-report method. Self-report method means, suppose if you want to collect information about me, then you can give me a questionnaire. I can answer about myself and then I can return it to you. You don't have to ask to anybody else regarding my personal matters. You can ask it straight to me because I can give you response. That is, I am reporting about myself. That is self-report measures. Okay. Now, the respondent has to read the questions and mark the answers on paper rather than respond verbally to the interviewer. In personal interviews, it is verbal answers, isn't it? They are responding verbally. But here, we are using questionnaires, so they can respond. They can mark their responses and give it back to you. They are in some ways like highly structured interviews because the questions are already set. Interview schedule is already set in structured interviews, right? But here the only difference is they are marking the responses and giving it to you when we use questionnaires. Questionnaires can be distributed to a group of persons at a time who write down their answers to the questions and return to the researcher. Can be sent through mail. We can either give them directly or we can, as Amal Roshan said, we can mail it. Okay. And again, questionnaires can be used for a single person as well as a group of people. It is applicable, widely applicable. And the only problem is, what do you think is the disadvantage of a questionnaire survey?
Cannot see the person.
You cannot see the person. Yeah, that is one problem. Because we don't know if the person, especially if it is through mail, we cannot know if that person is the one who is filling the questionnaire. Okay, then.
Not very flexible.
Not very flexible, okay. Now we are getting more than one disadvantage. Then. Think of the advantage of personal interview, then you'll understand.
We cannot understand the patient's expression.
Expressions, okay. What was one advantage of personal interviews? The last thing that we discussed. It is applicable to Emily.
Questionnaire survey cannot be applicable to the illiterate people.
Illiterate people. If people don't know to read and write, how will they understand the questions in the questionnaire? Isn't it? So it is less applicable. We cannot say that it's not at all applicable. It is very less applicable to illiterate people. Okay, that is one major problem of questionnaires. So if we are sending them through mail, or if we are just handing them the questionnaire booklet, and then we are coming after 2 days and collecting the questionnaire with the responses, we cannot make sure that they have understood those lines and then only they have marked. Maybe they have just randomly marked because they don't want to, they don't want to create a situation where they are considered as inferior. Like they are illiterate. They don't want to convey the fact that they are illiterate. So they might just randomly answer and then hand it over to you. So that is one problem regarding questionnaire surveys. Okay. Then what else do we have? They are used for collecting background and demographic information, information about past behavior, attitudes and opinions, knowledge about a particular topic, expectations and aspirations of the person. Again, this has a wider applicability. Okay, it's applied for various purposes to collect information regarding opinions, attitudes, then past behaviors. Earlier, how did you behave in a similar situation? For asking that also you can use questionnaires. Now, sometimes a survey is conducted by sending the questionnaire by mail, that we already discussed. The main problem of a mail questionnaire is poor response from the respondents. That is also one problem. If you are sending it by mail, you cannot guarantee that they will send it back to you. You cannot guarantee that you will get a response from that particular person. That is also one problem. Then there are generally two types of questions used in questionnaires: open-ended and closed-ended questions. Do you know what they are? Open-ended and closed-ended questions.
Yes. Open-ended are like MCQs or yes or no questions, and closed-ended are more questions that need more elaboration.
It's the opposite actually.
Oh.
Okay, open-ended means it's more descriptive in nature. You can elaborate on those questions. And closed-ended means there is a set of responses from which you have to choose from. Open-ended means the end is open, so you can write anything for that question. Closed-ended means it is closed. You only have a set of responses with you from which you can choose from. Understood. So can you give me an example of an open-ended question? What is the first question that I asked when I started the class?
How was the weekend?
How was the weekend? Is that open-ended or closed-ended? Open-ended. Because you are free to give any response as you want, isn't it? You can give me, you can speak for 2 minutes, you can speak for 5 minutes about it, you can finish it in one word, just like you guys did. It was okay, ma'am. Just in one sentence. It was fine, ma'am. Or it was as usual. Yeah. You are free to elaborate on it. Okay. And give me an example for closed-ended then.
True, false, disagree, agree.
Yeah, true or false questions, disagree, agree, strongly agree, all those types of responses. So give me a question. Have you heard this question? Are you aware that you are mad? Yes or no? Is that a closed-ended or open-ended question?
Close.
Closed-ended. Why? Because there are only two answers for it. Either yes or no. But whichever one we choose, we are already mad. Okay, so that is closed-ended question. Closed-ended means we have a set of responses to choose from. The MCQ test that you guys are going to attend, that is again closed-ended questions, because you have a set of responses already in front of you and you can just choose. But the descriptive answers, the board exam that you write, that is set of open-ended questions. Again, in that also you will have some multiple choice, that is closed-ended. But still, the essay questions and all are descriptive questions, isn't it? So they are open-ended questions. So let's see that and finish. Okay, open-ended questions and closed-ended questions. The respondent is free to write whatever answer he or she considers appropriate. These are mainly descriptive type. And closed-ended, they are mainly objective types. Okay, examples. What is your opinion about psychology? That is an open-ended question. Okay, because you are free to say anything about it. You can elaborate on it, isn't it? You can say it is very boring. You can say it is very interesting. You can describe it in 10 to 15 sentences also. Your opinion on psychology, isn't it? You can include the definition of psychology in it. You can include whatever you have learned about psychology in it. You can also say how much your opinion has changed from your past opinions. Yeah, so that is an open-ended question. Then closed-ended questions. The questions and their probable answers are given and the respondent is required to select the correct answer. They have to choose or select the correct answer. They might be using various responses like yes or no, true or false, multiple choice, ratings, ranks or preference, etc. Are you feeling better today? Yes or no? That is the probable answer. Okay, you have to choose either yes or no, that is it. So that's about questionnaire survey and personal interviews. Both these come under survey research, survey method. Okay, there is one more to complete that we'll see in the next class. Okay, thank you.